Good morning, Ultimate Hustlers and Digital Empire Builders. It is that time for the Cortez Hustle Show. And today we're talking time management tips and skills. We always call it time management, but really it's about managing yourself in the space of time. So that's what we're talking about today, man. It's going down. I'm going to give you 15 time management hacks over the next couple episodes. We're going to do a two-part series on time management because if you could get more done, then chances are you can be more successful in every area of your life. So I need you to do me a huge favor. Comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. And let's kick it this morning. Yo, what's up, Ultimate Hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network, and when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, coming to you live and direct from the Daily Hustle Social Media Consistency Challenge Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Yes, that is a mouthful, ladies and gentlemen, but check this out. If you are struggling with being consistent on social media, then we got a 21-day challenge right for you. What is a 21-day social media consistency challenge all about? Every day you're going to get an infographic. Every day you're going to get an article with daily affirmations and reflections. Every day you're going to get a short video training on how to use that content to post to your social for 21 straight days. This is how you're going to become more consistent on social media. All you got to do is text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999. Again, if you're struggling with being consistent on social because you don't know what to post, how to post, text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999. You're going to get content to post, including captions and hashtags. So all you got to do is follow instructions every single day. Today, we're talking time management skills, right? But more aptly, it is you management skills because you don't manage time. Time moves without anybody's control. You need to manage yourself within the space of time. And we're going to give you 15 hacks. This is part one of a two-part series on time management or managing yourself as it relates to time, being more productive, getting more done. So we're going to give you 15 tips, 15 hacks, 15 strategies that could help you with time management and getting more done. Before we get into that, we've got a couple quick announcements that we've got to run through. Announcement number one, I just want to say a huge thank you to all you guys who came and hung out with me this weekend. We did a special training for network marketers, and it was phenomenal. And I can't wait to see the productivity that comes out of that event for some of the network marketers who showed up. I literally showed them how to create automations for their online prospecting, and it was just flat out amazing. So shout out to y'all for investing time in yourself and learning a little bit about that. Also, I'm starting a new micro series called Inside the Hustle Spotlights. I want to spotlight entrepreneurs, particularly those who follow the show, but I want you to tag your favorite entrepreneurs as well. And this is going to be a 3 to 5 minute video that's going to get pushed out to my entire network, right? So, Inside the Hustle. If you know entrepreneurs who are looking to brand themselves, get out in front of more people with their great products and services, then let them know that they can hit me up on the Facebook page, The Cortez Hustle Show, and let me know what they got going on, and we'll do an Inside the Spotlight video with them and stream that to our platforms. My way of giving back to local entrepreneurs who are trying to grow their businesses and their brands. So let me know if you know any, and definitely share the show with them and let them know that we're doing free marketing videos for their business if they are successful entrepreneurs. I don't want no fakes. I don't want no tricksters. I don't want anybody who's not committed to the journey of entrepreneurship. So if they've been in business for a couple years and they're trying to get more exposure, then I want to help entrepreneurs like that. Last but not least, before we move on, y'all see something new. If you're watching us on the Cortez Hustle Show page on Facebook, y'all see that now Facebook has allowed me to monetize the page. What that means is if you want to give me stars to show your support, then you can do that right on Facebook by giving me stars. And basically, that's a way for me to monetize the content. So I have a goal of 1,000 stars within the next 30 days. And that's going to help me upgrade my equipment and help me take the show to another level. So before we get into today's content, y'all know how we do on the Cortez Social Show every day. I have start the show with a quote of the day. And today's quote is from the great Michelle Obama. Today's quote says this: "Success isn't about how your life looks to others. It's about how it feels to you." Success is not about how your life looks to other people, right? It's how your life feels to you. In this social media world, I can't stress enough about how so many of us have gotten to a space where everything that we do is all about making ourselves look a certain way across these social platforms, right? That's what it's all about. And that's not how you measure success. Success is not about how you look to other people. Success is about how you feel to you, right? How do you feel when you do the things that you do in your business, right? That's a better measure of success than how other people see you, right? People look and say, "Hey, Cortez Hustle Show, there's only 2 people watching live," right? That can't be a successful live stream, a successful podcast. Well, how do I feel about presenting the content that I share with my listeners every single day? That is more a measure of my success. Do I feel that I am giving value? Do I feel that people's lives will be better as a result of listening to this podcast, right? I know the power of changing one life, right? If one person listens to the podcast and they learn one time management hack that allows them to be more productive, and now they are a better provider for their families, now they are a better leader in their community, right? Then does it matter that I had 1 million people listening, or did I change an entire community by changing the life of one person? That's what you got to understand, how to put success in its proper perspective. A lot of us don't know how to evaluate results, right? I want you to think about that. A lot of people do not know how to evaluate results. And if I ask you to do 10 things, one thing 10 times, and I told you that you would fail at it 7 times and only succeed at it 3 times, most people wouldn't think it was worth the effort. But if I told you I'm tasking you with hitting a major league pitch consistently 3 times out of 10, now all of a sudden you're a multi-millionaire, because the best hitters in Major League Baseball are hitting at about 300%. They bat 300 is their batting average, meaning they strike out or make an out 7 times, they get on base 3 times. And you'll make multi millions, even tens and hundreds of millions, if you can do that over a sustained period of time where it is predictable. So you got to understand that success is more about you. How do you feel about your life, not how does your life look to other people? Hey, Mark says, how do I get these stars, right? Yeah, so it is literally somewhere on Facebook, it'll prompt you to go out and purchase stars, and you'll have kind of like a bank of stars. And then if you see your favorite social media influencer on Facebook Live, then you can share those stars, and somehow that's how I get compensated, right? So I'm still learning. I just saw this feature come up just last week. So, but that is the quote of the day, ladies and gentlemen, from the great Michelle Obama. Success isn't about how your life looks to others. It's about how it feels to you. Remember that. So today we're talking all about time management, or how do you manage yourself in the space of time? Are there certain things that you can do from a mindset standpoint? Are there certain things that you can do from a tactical standpoint that will help you be more productive, get more out of each and every one of your days? So y'all know how we do, man. I always find a great article that's helping me, and I want to share that with you. So let me drop that in the comments real quick, and then we'll get into the first part of our lesson, and then we'll do part 2 on Wednesday. So article reference for today, and this will be in the show notes for those of you who are listening. All you got to do is check, and it's there. All right, boom. So today's article reference is from a site called Byerly Enterprise, 15 Time Management Secrets of Successful People. There's actually a video that goes with this as well. So the biggest struggle we all face in life is learning to manage our time wisely. That is why today I am reviewing the book 15 Secrets Successful People Know About Time Management by Kevin Cruz. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, tip number 1. What is your most valuable time management asset, right? What is your most valuable asset? Is it money? Your family? No, it is neither of these things. Your most valuable asset is time. So when you start to understand that your most valuable asset is time, that is the first hack to becoming better with your time. The funny thing about life, man, is all life is time. When you boil down life, what is life? Life is a span of time and what you do within that time. All life is time, right? I heard this a guy say not long ago is, we think that I'm 47. Some people will say 47 is young. Well, if, Lord forbid, I die next year, then I'm pretty old right now, meaning that I'm closer to the end of my life, right? You don't even know how old you are. You be 20 years old.
But if you only have 2 years to live, then you've already lived 90% of your life. That makes you old. So you got to understand that all life is time. And when you think about the fact that none of us know how much time we have left, you got to get serious about what you do within that time frame. And then here's the other thing, right? The other thing is, because we're social creatures, we kind of look at how everybody else spends their time. We look at what society tells us should be valuable to us as it relates to time, and we start doing that stuff. No, what's important to you? That's what you should be spending your time on, right? Kill what everybody else is saying is important, man. You got to hustle, you got to grind. Oh, you got to spend time with your family. Oh, you got to spend time having fun. You got to do the things that are important to you with the time that you are allotted, right? Time is one thing that you cannot get more of. In fact, you only have 1,440 minutes available to you each day, right? Once you appreciate how valuable time is, then you can prioritize it to make the most from each day. Like when you really get serious about how valuable time is, not only will you not let other people waste your time, you'll stop wasting your time. Think about it. I do not know how much time I have left. I got my mind set on building a multi-billion-dollar international media conglomerate. And one would think that, okay, Cortez, that's a big goal. So that's something that you should be planning to spend the next 20, 30 years trying to achieve. You think about Walt Disney done it. You think about the founders of Uber did it. You think about Jeff Bezos did it over 20, 30-year career. You think about Bill Gates did it over 30. You should be thinking about, okay, this is a 20 or 30-year project. And I get that. But what if I don't have 20 or 30 years left? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So when you really understand how valuable time is, you stop wasting it. You stop allowing other people to waste it, right? You start challenging yourself to get more organized, to get better organized, to save a second here, to save a second there, right? It is seriously important, right? Number 2, we're talking about 15 things. I'm going to give you the first 7 today, and then we're going to bang out the next 7 on Wednesday when we come back. So number 2, this is management tips based on the book 15 secrets successful people know about time management by Kevin Cruz, but I'm reading from a video podcast called ByerlyEnterprise.com, right? Number 2, use a calendar instead of to-do list. Use a calendar instead of to-do list. And remember, guys, if you have not shared the show, that is your cost of admission. So hit that share button for me real quick, whether you're listening to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher. Make sure you follow, make sure you leave a review, and then make sure you share with others. Number 2, use a calendar instead of a to-do list. Do me a favor and pull out your to-do list. How long is it? How many items on your to-do list have been there for weeks or even worse, months? Does looking at your to-do list just stress you out? Instead of using a to-do list, pull out your calendar instead. This technique will help with your stress level. Researchers have determined that 41% of what is on your to-do list will never get completed. Most of the items on the list do not contain the length of time needed to complete the task. Now, I'll tell you, in using a method like this, right? Um, I used to try to just do a bunch of stuff. Now I just put the stuff on the calendar, right? If it's on the calendar, it gets done. I know that. If it's not on the calendar, then it must not be too important because I didn't remember or think to put it on the calendar. So how many of you guys use calendars versus to-do lists, right? That's an interesting method, but we're talking about this is what successful people do. I don't want to build my time management strategies based around people who are not successful. If you want to be successful, you got to do what successful people do. Successful people use calendars versus to-do lists. So I'm going to start using a calendar, period. All right, now we're at my favorite part of the show, and this is 1 minute motivation. If you're new to the Cortez Hustle Show, every day we provide 1 minute motivation. That's where I play a short motivational clip, usually 60 to 90 seconds or so. And the audience will comment a takeaway or two, and I'm going to give you a couple of my takeaways. So let's get into 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
You have not done your best work yet. You're stronger than you realize. You are more than a conqueror. You never find out how much you know until you find out how little you know. Don't surrender. Don't give in. Just keep moving forward. Stay busy. Moving in the right direction. Looking, opening doors, knocking on doors. Finding a way out of no way. Every day is the best day of your life. Find a way. There's no time to be depressed. It's no time to sit back and complain. Walk by faith and not by sight. Figure it out. Figure it out. To put in the energy and the time to figure it out. And that's what you've got to do. Don't stop. Keep going. Be stubborn about your goals. No test, no testimony. Whatever is in front of you, you have the power to handle it. You've been given authority and dominion.
No excuse is acceptable. In order for you to get where you want to go, this is one of the hoops that you have to flip through and embrace whatever comes to you. Don't run from it. Step toward it. Don't try and duck it. Easy is not an option.
Hoo-wee. Easy, my friend, is not an option. I want you to think about that. When you have the opportunity to do something and you're trying to get to another level, there's always paths that are laid in front of you. There is an easy path, which most people take. That should not be an option because, as the legend Denzel says, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Because ease is the path to complacency. Ease doesn't allow room for stretching and growth. Ease doesn't allow for the opportunity to test your faith, right? And as Les Brown also says, faith that is not tested can't be trusted, right? You should think about that. Be stubborn about your goals. In other words, be obsessed. The word stubborn and the word obsessed seems to get a bad reputation, right? When you're obsessed about fulfilling the call on your life, people seem to want to see that as a negative thing. And people want to judge you about, man, that's all you do is chase that thing. That's all you do is work towards that goal. And they want to make you feel guilty about being obsessed about fulfilling the calling on your life. Train my sons when they were all coming up, when they started to think about dating and stuff. I said, listen, you can never find yourself seriously involved with someone who doesn't have a dream or goal. because at that time I had one, 3 of my sons were in sports. One's a musician, and one, I believe, is going to be an entrepreneur like his pa, right? I said, if you find yourself seriously involved with someone who does not have a dream of their own, a vision of their own, a goal of their own, they will never understand your pursuit of yours. Right? Think about it. My son, who is now playing college basketball, I said, if the person that you're with, that you're dating, if they do not have a vision, a dream, an ambition of their own, they'll never understand your commitment to the gym, your commitment to the weight room, your commitment to pickup games, your commitment to studying. They'll never understand that, and they will try to pull you away from, not because with malicious intent, but because they don't understand that level of commitment. They'll start saying things like, you spend way too much time doing that and not enough time with me. All you ever think about is that. Right? They won't understand. And if they don't understand, because they don't have a relationship with an obsession, with an ambition, with drive, with goal, like when someone else is also ambitious, you would actually like they will encourage you to get in the gym. They will encourage you to press towards the mark. So you got to be careful with that. I want all of y'all to repeat this to yourselves, man. You have not done your best work yet. And that's scary in a good way. At least it is for me. I have not been my most consistent yet. I am not my most genius creative self yet. I have not done my best work yet. I have not been the most productive version of myself yet. And I do a lot, right? The more you grow, the more you can grow. That's why easy is not an option. The more you reach towards and grow towards your potential, the more potential you'll see that you have to grow. I want you to think about that. As I continue to expand and become more of the Cortez that my creator made me to be, I start seeing more of what I can be. And realize that all this time I've been thinking small. But the best way to start expanding your thinking is to start taking action. Some of us don't take enough action, so we don't see the room for growth. And we don't have anything to press towards. So that is 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by the Social Media Consistency Challenge, ladies and gentlemen. If you are struggling with being consistent on social media, text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999. And I'm going to give you every single day, delivered right to your email box, an infographic to post, an article with affirmations and daily reflection questions. I'm going to give you the captions and the hashtags. All you got to do is watch the training, follow the steps. If you do that for 21 days straight, as you know, 21 days creates a habit. You're going to have the habit of posting every day, but more importantly, watching that video every day, you're going to start to see, become a content marketer. You're going to see the types of things that you can post on a regular and consistent basis. It's going to change your life if you want to use social media to grow your business. So text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999. We're talking time management. How do you manage your time? How do you manage yourself in the space of time? Number one, you got to realize and change your mindset as how you see time. That's number one. You got to realize that time is your most valuable asset. When you can realize that, right, then you stop wasting time. You'll stop allowing other people to waste your time. You'll start seeing your daily activities as an investment into your future. You'll start looking at the return that you're getting on your time, right? Number two, use a calendar instead of a to-do list, right? The reason that the calendar works so well is because you put time with the task, right? You don't just put a bunch of stuff on your calendar, you put time on there. So when you put a meeting on your calendar, that meeting is usually set for a certain amount of time. And you start timing your to-do list, right? In conjunction with that, number three, consider using time blocks for time management. This is how you use this in conjunction with your calendar. You may want to consider using time blocks or time boxing. What is time blocks or time boxing? Time blocks or time boxing is a time management strategy where you schedule time to complete your goals. You do this by using your calendar to block out the time needed to work on a task or subtask. What happens when you need to schedule a task and there just is not room? You simply reschedule the task by rearranging your schedule to fit the new task in. Guys, this works incredibly well if you use it. I wear a Fitbit every day, right? And when I have my day schedule, I say, okay, I'm working on a client's project. I'm going to allot 45 minutes for this project. And I set my timer and I set it to 45 minutes. Then I turn off my notifications on my phone. Then I close out my Facebook window. I close out my YouTube window on my computer and I go to work. Man, when I tell you, it's amazing how much you can get done when you utilize focused, concentrated efforts, right? It's amazing, right? So 100% True says, do you have a college qualification in finance? No, I just got real world application. Real world application, right? So the question is, when you block out time, for me, what I do is I block out that 45 minutes. It creates an amount of focus, and I oftentimes get more done in 45 minutes than I would if I had tried to do this in half a day. Why? Because I know that I got a certain amount of time in my mind and I'm going to move on to the next location. I'm going to move on to the next task. So it really forces you to concentrate. So if you have not tried time blocks, if you have not tried using your calendar in this way and focused energy, man, try it and see if you can't get more done. Because when you realize, like when I say, hey, I'm going to do these 3 things on my client's website and I'm going to get it done in 45 minutes. And when I get it done earlier, the endorphins and the rush that I get from completing the task, and then I look at my Fitbit and it's like, man, I got 10 minutes to spare. It creates a win in your mind, right? And when those endorphins start to flow, that euphoric high from the win, it makes you want to win more. It makes you want to do more. So I immediately set another timer and I move on to the next task, right? So number 3, consider using time blocks for time management. Number 4, overcome procrastination, right? Y'all know how I feel about procrastination. Just a bougie way of saying, right? People like to use perfectionism and perfectionism and procrastination is the same thing, right? We all have experienced the following. We have an important deadline due and we scroll Facebook, looking at posts, texting a friend, or just sit down to catch up on our favorite TV program. I will be honest with you and tell you I did this exact same thing 2 weeks ago. I couldn't get motivated to edit the video due to be released on Wednesday. Procrastination is hard to overcome, but it can be done, right? It can be done. So how do you overcome procrastination? One, get started. Like when I am laying in bed, right? And when I'm laying in bed, I in the morning, I try to get up at 4:30 so I can go and start my workout, right? And as long as I'm laying in the bed, it becomes incredibly hard. So I tell myself, just get up, just put your feet on the floor, right? Skip the workout, skip lacing up your shoes. Just start with one thing at a time. Put your feet on the floor, right? Then I stand up and I go to my room. I come into my office. Hey, just put your tennis shoes on. Just go downstairs, man, and do you a couple push-ups, do you a couple jumping jacks, and at least you got something in. This is I literally talk myself into working out every day because I'm trying to talk myself out of it every day. All right, man, I'm gonna go downstairs and I'm just gonna do 3 minutes on the bike. Those 3 minutes come, by the time I get downstairs and I put on my motivation, I feel like working out. But I don't get to that place unless I get started. Sometimes all you have to do is get started. Period. Sometimes that's the best way to overcome procrastination. Another good way to overcome procrastination is to make a public declaration. Right? If you put it out there that you're going to do something in a way that other people are going to know about it, especially those who you have given permission to hold you accountable, that's the key. That's the key. So a lot of times I'll come on a show like this and say, hey, Saturday, we're going to do this. Why? Because I'm using forced accountability. I want to teach you guys something, but if I don't do it in a training, sometimes I'll never get around to doing it. So I'll put it on a calendar and I'll send out a notification to my list and say, hey, join me Saturday for a free training for network marketers on how to automate your online prospecting. That was about me needing to build an automated process through my workflows and my software to make that happen for myself, right? So I did, and that's what happened. So I forced myself to do something that I know needed to be done, right? So number 4, we're talking about 15 tips for managing yourself in a space of time. I don't like to say time management because you can't manage time. You can't stop it. You can't start it. You can't slow it down. You can't speed it up. You can't do nothing with time, right? You can only manage yourself in the space of time, right? So you got to overcome procrastination. One of the things that I have to stop doing is telling myself that I work best under pressure. Or I get my best work done when I wait to the last minute to do something. No, I don't. That's just me rationalizing my procrastination and supporting my habit of procrastination and waiting to the last minute to do something. Right? You got to figure yourself out, man. Period. Number 5 on the list. There's always more to do. There is always more to do. So when you come to this place of realization, it's going to help you to not stress. You may find it more valuable to prioritize and scheduling the tasks that you want to do than cross off as many completed tasks as possible. President George W. Bush knew that there would always be more to do. So instead of trying to do everything, he made it his priority to read tons of books since he found it therapeutic and educational, right? So when you think about the fact that there's always going to be more to do, you have to learn how to then prioritize, right? Brian Tracy has a book. I'm trying to see if I can get to it quickly on my shelf. Has a book called Eat That Frog, right? And the entire premise of that book is to help you understand that very thing. There's always more to do. So what your focus has to be on is doing the most important things first. Prioritizing the most important things first. He explains it like you've got a container and you got to put these rocks in this container. He said if you take the time to put all of these smaller rocks and pebbles in first, you won't actually have any time or any space to put in the big rocks, right? He said, but what happens if you do the big task first, the most important task first? You put those things first. You put the 3 big boulders in. By default, doing some of the big things will automatically get some of the smaller things done along the way, right? So one of the big things might be you got to respond to an email. Well, the main email that you're responding to had 3 or 4 other conversations from smaller emails that you also got to get to. But because you answered the first one first with the most tasks in it, it actually cleaned up 10 other emails that you would have had to respond to later. Eat that frog. Tackle the biggest, ugliest task first. When you tackle the biggest, ugliest task first, it's going to not only make you feel good that you got something big out of the way, you can use that momentum to then knock out a bunch of the smaller tasks, right? There's always going to be more to do, y'all. So don't stress yourself out about what you can get done within an 8-hour period or a 12-hour period or whatever your work schedule is for your job, your career, your business, or whatever, your home life. There's always more to do. What you got to get good at is prioritizing the big stuff, the important stuff, right? And never confuse the urgent with the most important. Never confuse the urgent with the most important. Sometimes things will come into your life and there's urgent. It's urgent, but it's not an emergency. There's a difference. Pay attention to the most important. All right. Where are we at? Number 5, there's always more to do. You cannot do everything, and that is fine. You got to be okay with it, or else you will stress yourself to death. Right. Number 6, write down your ideas. Write down your ideas. Wouldn't it be ideal if every time you had a great thought or idea that you were able to remember it? That would be ideal, but it's not the case, right? If you have noticed that as I am getting older, I have noticed that as I'm getting older, that my memory does not remember things as well as it used to. Wouldn't it be ideal to just stop and jot those things down? Or we have these wonderful things usually connected to our hands at all times. You could leave yourself a short voice clip, right? And if you want to get better organized, I can pull this thing out. And since I'm always using Facebook, I can also message myself a short voice clip. And now it's in my Facebook Messenger. Now I don't have to take up space on my digital recording device because I stored it inside of Facebook instead of storing it on my own device, right? As a creative person, I have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of ideas, right? It is Dr. Dennis Kimbrough in his book, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, and also in his follow-up book to that, The Wealth Choice, says every single one of us gets at least 4 ideas per year that will make us a multi-millionaire if we would only act on them. At least 4 ideas a year. I call them downloads from God, right? God dropped something in your lap and said, man, if you just take this and run with it, all of your dreams will come through. If you just take this and do something with it, just take the next step with it. And sometimes what holds us back is we'll get this wonderful idea, and usually that idea only reveals step 1 and 2 to us. But no, we got to see the whole staircase before we take action. It's not how it works, y'all. That's not how it works. Right? Faith is the substance of things not seen. I got step 1 and step 2. I know that there's a staircase to heaven, but I don't need to see all of the steps. Let me just execute on step 1 and step 2. And before I finish step 2, steps 3 and steps 4 are going to show themselves. You don't need to see all of the steps, people. If you would just take action on that $1 million idea that you got in your head. And some of y'all know what I'm talking about, because this same $1 million idea has been in your $1 million idea has been in your head for the last year, the last 2 years, the last 5 years. And you're like, man, ain't nobody done it yet? Ain't nobody done it yet? No, because it's for you to do. It's for you to do. Mark, you're right. Just like the fog, brother. Just like the fog. The fog seems like it's everywhere. Like you can't, like there's nothing beyond those first 2 feet. Nope. Drive the first 2 feet and you'll see 2 more feet in front of you. Drive 2 more feet, you're gonna see 2 more feet in front of you. Drive 2 more feet, you're gonna see 2 more feet in front of you. Y'all sitting on $1 million idea that you have been sitting on for a while. But you know what's going to happen? Somebody else is going to get that same download. I remember when I was a kid, one of the few memories that I have of my dad. My dad had, so we lived in a property that was actually 2 properties, 2 houses on 1 property. So in the main house, that's where we lived. But then right behind the main house, there was another house behind the main house. But to get to that house, there was a good 15 feet, I would imagine. And it was gravel and rock. And, you know, the type of situation you wouldn't just go out in your house shoes to go back to that other property. So my dad, when he would wear his shoes out, before throwing him away because he knew he had to go from property to property, he would cut the back of them out, right? So that he could slip them on like shoes, like house shoes. But sometimes they were hard bottom, sometimes they were tennis shoes, sometimes they were dress shoes. It was just crazy. And I was like, man, what in the world? And some 30 years later, I think Skechers was the first to come out with a shoe that was a tennis shoe with the back cut out of it. I was like, man, my dad was doing that 30 years ago. Didn't think none of it. Just another way to recycle some old shoes before he threw them out, get a little bit more wear and tear out of them. Never thought that would become a fashion, right? And now, today, it's not uncommon to see a full-fledged shoe with just the back cut out like that. So you're sitting on $1 million idea, scared to take steps 1 and 2 because you don't see the whole staircase, and eventually somebody else is going to get that download. And then we all gonna be running around talking about shoulda, coulda, woulda. Man, I thought of that first. Yeah, but you ain't ever take no action on it, right? So writing down your ideas, recording your ideas can really help you. And then just from time to time, go back and play those ideas back. Go back and play them back and see if they don't spark some new components that you could stretch for. Number 7, and this will be the last one, and then we'll pick up the other 8 on Wednesday. Number 7, do not check your inbox too often. Writing down your thoughts is crucial, as is maintaining control over your schedule, which is where the 7th secret comes into play. It says that you should avoid checking your email too often. Why? Because then you are letting others dictate how you spend your time. This was a crazy habit that I have. This is why when I set my timer and I go to work on a particular project, this is why I have to close out the Facebook. I have to close out the YouTube. Why? Otherwise, I'm going to get a notification that somebody just liked one of my videos. I'm going to go see who it was who liked it. And then I'm going to go and thank them for liking it. Then I'm going to see somebody else has commented. Then I'm going to go and respond to that comment. And before you know it, I'm down this rabbit hole 45 minutes deep. Same way with emails. Create your time for emails. And you set your time up to say, hey, maybe it is first thing in the morning. Maybe it is not first thing in the morning because you want to get some other things done, right? And let the most important people you know, like your boss, for instance, say, hey, the way I set my calendar up is I don't check emails until 11 a.m. So if you have something that's pressing for me in the morning, send me a text message, send me an instant message, ping me. So I don't want you to feel like I'm disrespecting or ignoring your email, but for me to be my most productive self, I can't check email before 11 a.m. It stresses me out. It sends me on wild goose chases. It really causes me to lose focus. My most productive hours are from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And I don't want to spend my most productive time checking emails that can send me on a downward spiral time-wise. Boom. Now you create a game plan and you train everybody that you work with. You train everybody in your life that, hey, if you want to get in touch with me and it's an emergency and it's before 11 a.m., email ain't the way to go. Same way with instant messenger, right? You got to make sure that you are not allowing people to pull at your time, because when you don't have a plan for your day, everybody else does. When you don't have a plan for your day, everybody else does. Like, have you ever taken a day off work and you don't have nothing planned? You just want to chill. Hey, I'm not going in today. I'm just going to sit back, put my feet up. I don't have any, no, I'm not going on vacation. I'm not traveling, anything. I just don't want to go to work, and I just want to chill. Now, you didn't have any plans. You didn't go to work. And all of a sudden, the people close to you find out that you're not at work. And all of a sudden, they think that your free day becomes their free day. And they want to call you, hey, can you help me move? I realize you ain't at work. Hey, can you run me to the store? Hey, can you take a look at something for me? When you don't have a plan for your time. And remember, all life is time. So I could say, if you don't have a plan for your life, everybody else does. I remember when I first left my job to become a full-time entrepreneur in 2016. Right? October 3rd, 2016, I left my job to become a full-time entrepreneur. I had a nice team growing in the network marketing space. I knew I wanted to be in this digital marketing world. I wanted to help people understand and leverage social media. And I was literally on my job, and I was doing more work for my own business than I was on my job. Now, some people are okay with that. I was not. It did make me feel good. It wasn't the integrous thing to do, to be working on my business on somebody else's time and getting paid for it. So I left. But when I did that, I remember the people around me and closest to me thought that now that I don't have a job, I can do everything that they need me to do. I was like, no, I don't have a job, but I still have work to do. Right? Being an entrepreneur allows me to own my time, but because I own my time doesn't mean that I want to fill my time up with your stuff. No, I fought to own my time so that I can invest more in growing my enterprise, growing my empire. I didn't fight to own my time so that you can use my time however you want to use my time. No, don't work like that. So, 7 tips so far on how to leverage time. I'm going to come back on Wednesday, and we're going to drop the last 8. Put the article in the comments. You guys can check out the whole article there. There's also a video there as well. You guys can check that out. So I appreciate you guys all for tuning in as always, man. Until I talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.